The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Once more into the shed. Our characters level up to begin this episode, then take on the task of following the trail from the remains of the Kingsbury Treasury, who is ultimately responsible for the fall of the city. I'm sure our adventurers will find out. Enjoy the podcast.
Welcome to the Shed for Adventures from the Shed. Find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, all over the Yoo-hoo interwebs. We are back in the shed playing our Dungeon World campaign, A New Frontier, set in our world of Parandisi. We're going to go around the table quick and say hi. We'll start with this guy.
Hey, it's Chris. I'm playing Uriel the Immolator, your most flavorful flambade. I wrecked it. I was trying to go with the alliteration again. I crashed that one. Sorry, guys.
He crashed and burned.
Oh! Or did I? Was that the perfect setup ever?
No.
Thank you very much. We didn't even plan that. That's how good we are.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, go.
All right, I'm Kelly. I'm playing Trillium, the awesome druid. Saves everybody's asses.
And is even willing to have sex with a horny hawk.
There you go, right there.
As needed.
As needed.
And
I am the best.
And this is Kurt. I am playing Breton, the party's ranger.
And I'm Mike. I am Laramie Burnsteel, Paladin Josiah. Go Joe.
Go Joe.
Go.
I am Joe, the game master for this game that we are playing.
Go Joe.
In between our sessions, I asked our players to get our characters to level 7. And we're going to hear a little bit from them about what they chose for level 7, how they feel their character has been going so far, and what they think the future holds as they move forward. Who wants to go first, Kurt?
I would be happy to go first. So upon reaching level 7...
You know, someday I'm going to ask who wants to go first and give someone's name, and they're going to pick someone else. Because I'm actually asking that question, and instead people just go first.
I'm just an attention whore.
You are.
At level 7,
Emphasis on attention.
Breton took the special move, or the advanced move, Smog's Belly. When you know your target's weakest point, your arrows have 2 piercing. And Joe and I talked about the fact that since in our combats here, we don't generally get too specific on damage and armor and things all that often, we're basically going to treat that as I potentially know kind of the weakest point or the way to defeat an enemy that we might otherwise struggle with or not know.
It's almost like the reference that they give of Smog's Belly back in The Hobbit, where every arrow, everything's bouncing off the dragon, and then somebody figures out the right spot to hit it. That's kind of the way we're going to play that move, almost as the spirit of it rather than the letter of it, that Breton will know the way to harm the thing that no one else can harm.
Right. And then did you want us to talk about where we're going with the character?
Oh, keep going, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, we'll start with how do you think Breton has gone so far? What do you think are the things that you have enjoyed the most? And what might his future hold?
So I've had fun with Breton. This has been a really difficult campaign for me because I've been in and out of it a little bit more than usual.
Yeah.
But when I get back into it, I enjoy it. I'm really liking playing with Mike again, and having Trillium Kelly back today is super fun.
Yep.
And I think part of the reason that's fun relates to where I see the character going, which is if Breton lives to the end, I think it would be, I would see it, she may not see it, but I would see Breton wanting to basically become a druid apprentice or take more druid moves. You know, he started as a ranger because even though he's social, he likes people, he likes the ladies, he likes being in town, he's always been drawn to going out into nature in part to protect civilization. And I think the druid class is essentially another way to play that. And as he spent more and more time tracking and looking through Hawk's eyes and all of the things that he's doing, I just think he's more and more attuned with the natural world. And then I think spending time with Trillium, and I felt this before when she was playing, I feel like that's a good partnership for the characters, and it would only be natural that he would want to learn more about the way that she gets her power. Yeah. And from a mechanical standpoint, and we probably won't get there, but when I look at building the Ranger out, the advanced moves don't, the ones that are fun are essentially druid spells, and you can really only get one using special trick. But if Breton were to continue as a like a level 20 character, I would
Yeah.
see him becoming more of a multi-class druid.
That makes sense. Cool.
I got you, boo. I got you.
Who wants to go next?
I could go.
Sorry, I'll just say
Oh,
as a
keep going.
side note, it's interesting because druid is like the class growing up. I never played a druid in anything, and my monk Truk ended up multi-classing into druid and basically
yeah.
becoming a druid.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the way that, like, given time, Breton would probably end up going as well, which is just interesting. And I guess comports with my personality. I'm, a Boy Scout nature guy at heart, even though I live in the city now. So,
I don't know if I ever even thought of this horrible reference until now, but essentially you were Kung Fu Panda, right? So the monk that was a druid kind of thing eventually.
Seems like-
Yes, a horrible reference. I
It seems like
prefaced
you
that.
want to be a druid, but you don't want to commit to being full-on druid.
Yeah,
well, it's funny.
I like my shape.
So
Right.
it's interesting. There's two things to that. One, I didn't want to play a druid this time because, one, I had played it before on the podcast,
Yep.
and two, I think Trillium had already either chosen or was interested in it. Kelly.
The one Kelly was interested
Kelly.
in, yeah.
And then number two, in D&D, the most OP class in 5th edition is one of the circles of druid.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of shied away from it because I don't want to be like, oh, Kurt's playing a moon druid. He took the
Yeah.
most powerful class. But I do now I like it. I also like the idea that you can have magical powers that come from kind of a different place from what we traditionally think of as the wizards.
I like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Next.
All paths lead to druid for Kurt.
Yeah.
Yes.
You what?
All paths lead to druid for you. Seems like.
Which
the
means
moment.
you're probably a true druid.
Well,
A druid.
A druid.
He's a druish princess.
Yes,
A
definitely
druid princess.
Yeah, druish.
Druish. Spaceballs.
Do you want me to go next?
Yes, now that you've said it, I do.
All right.
Absolutely.
Please continue.
I mean, being that I wasn't part of some of the,
This is a good opportunity for you to make up crap about what you were doing for the last 6 months. What would Trillium have been doing?
Well, Trillium was
Baked out of her mind.
No. Trillium
yes, but no.
was healing her home forest.
Yeah, because that had suffered quite a bit.
Yeah,
Yep.
so Trillium was doing some cleanup and some, healing going on in her hometown, her home forest. And then she got called, of course, to the waterfall area that you guys, or the rest of the group was,
Outside of Kingsbury.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to follow the whole how things have been going so far, I'm getting that Trillium is a homebody. She likes to be in the woods. She likes to be in nature. If her friends are in need and they're in the city, she'll go. But otherwise, she finds it more comforting, more home in the forest, in the wilderness, wherever that may be.
How did it feel for Trillium to go into a city that had been ransacked, that really didn't have much civilization and was kind of a smoldering wreck? Did that make any difference?
Well, she's a human.
Yeah.
So, and she holds her friends highly. So, so the draw is her friends.
Okay.
Her friends are in need. She can be of use. She's there. But whenever that need gets met,
It's
there's
time
no
to go
reason.
back home
yeah.
again.
Yeah. She loves her friends, but
So she's the first one to leave the party,
yes.
right?
Yes.
She might show up a little early so that she doesn't have to be with the whole crowd,
Right.
but then she leaves as soon as the last guest arrives, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And not that she doesn't love people,
All right.
but it's her nature to be
Okay.
with animals, with the wilderness, with the wild
Nature
things.
to be with nature.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when the last chapter is written, what is Trillium's role in the adventure?
I'm not so sure.
You don't have an ideal for her?
I mean, if Breton wants to come and be an apprentice and learn the ways of the wilderness, and I can teach him a few things for sure. So
Like how to grow, what was it, rainbow cohosh? I think it
rainbow
was.
cohosh.
Yeah.
I've got some pine cones that I've been experimenting with.
Everything's an experiment.
I don't know that we would go out.
Kurt, I think you're muted.
I don't know that it would be a
Kurt,
formal
accelerate.
apprenticeship. It might just be we adventure together and I start
Yeah.
learning more from her. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what it looks like exactly.
I mean, I'm sure I could learn from him. He can learn from me. We're just gonna pal around in the woods for a minute.
Although at the same time, she sort of comes off as a very solitary person. So I'm wondering if, knowing how Breton is, if he would just bug the ever-living crap out of her for after a while.
Probably.
Very possible. But then we would like shapeshift and we'd do like, I don't know. We'll figure something out.
I would turn into like the tiniest insect, and he would never find me.
But you've gotten to the point where no matter what forms you're in, you can understand each other.
That's
So
true.
it's hard to turn into
I would never stick
something.
around unwanted. I would.
Yeah.
It's got to be consensual.
Although she does have the ability to turn into like shapes like rocks,
Yeah.
water, fire, all kinds of stuff.
That's
huh?
true.
This is true. So I would imagine that
Yeah.
I would pick up on all of the mysteries of the forest, whether that be from animals, from
Yeah.
rocks, from water, the elements, you know.
Yeah, and plants and stuff, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I think I've always found it interesting the way that in the Lord of the Rings movies, how they portray the Ents as taking forever to communicate. I've always thought that way about rocks, but they
Right.
throw that in with the big old trees as well. So
Yeah.
I could see, to your point, you just sit around as a rock for 2 years just to hear the story of what happened last week, kind of
Yeah,
thing, right?
yeah. Okay.
And you could learn things that you would never know otherwise. That could be pretty cool.
Definitely.
Hey,
All right.
before we move on, I was gonna just throwing back mention, and this is not a sponsor in any way, but there are all
If
these.
there's a sponsor, I'm not getting anything yet.
No affiliation, but
Yeah.
there are all these little like, what kind of character am I? Things.
Yeah.
But there's a really good one, and I think it's EasyDamus, EasyDamus.com/character.
Okay.
And it's like 150 questions, and it gives you
Wow.
what D&D
Okay.
character you are. And mine was neutral, good, human, druid/wizard, 3 levels of each.
Wow.
Which I thought was pretty accurate.
That is pretty interesting.
And my wife has done it, and my 10-year-old son have done it, and they both had a blast doing it. So if you're listening and you're bored,
Which one of the 150 questions asked you your social security number?
none.
No, good.
But what's interesting is at the bottom, it actually gives you literally a total breakdown of your responses and where it would fit you in on lawful,
That's cool.
on basically every breakdown, race, class, and
So it's a
alignment.
pretty good poll.
It's a really good
Wow,
one.
that sounds really like sophisticated.
Yeah, and I think if you just Google what D&D character am I, you'll probably find it.
What is it?
Easy Damus.
It's EASYDAMUS.com/character.html.
Easy DM us.
There you go.
That's my rapper name.
Yep.
Uh,
Got it.
All right, so we got that.
All right, now I'm putting my computer away.
Power
think-
did you pick? for
Oh
this
yeah, when you went to level 7?
Oh.
there,
What
did
stat did you
decide to
use?
pick?
I chose the Chimera.
Chimera.
You pronounce it how you like. It's your power.
It's true.
No, really. Like,
I've heard
how do
both.
you
Well,
pronounce
I've
it?
heard both. I heard Chimera
Chimera.
and Chimera. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard both. I
Chimera?
usually say Chimera. That
Chimera?
I usually say hard sounding.
Yeah, because in
sound.
Greek
Yeah.
it's
So when I shapeshift, you may create a merged form of up to 3 different shapes. And so
Oh
you may be
my.
a bear with wings.
You
and
could
an
be
eagle.
cat dog.
I could be cat dog.
You could be cat dog.
Yes.
Nice.
what is it? The Chimera is like what? Lion, eagle, dragon. I think.
I don't know if it's static
Maybe some
3.
scorpion
Yeah,
in
that's
there.
true.
Or
It's
scorpion.
usually like a
Yeah.
lion,
Scorpion
and
something.
it's like 2 other things.
Yeah.
So I may
Yeah,
be
the
a bear with
scorpion
wings.
tail I think is common.
That's right.
The head of a ram. Each feature will grant you a different move or make different move to make. Your chimera form allows the same rules as shapeshift or otherwise. So
Well, that's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
it's a decent little thing to have for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to
So that's
see
what I
the
chose.
elephant mouse.
yes.
I want to
Or
be
the
able to
werewolf.
trample somebody and sneak under a door.
All right, Chimera orgy.
Chimorgy.
Chimorgy.
Speaking of orgies, Eric the sex hawk,
Yes.
you want to go next?
I took another level of hawk.
Can I just make
that
one
was an
thing
A choice.
clear?
Oh, yeah?
The orgy
I'm
maneuver.
going to be teaching Breton things. I'm really hoping that Breton will be teaching me anything. I've had enough.
Yes.
Like,
I think we got that. We got
Well, if you teach me shapeshifting, I could have sex with the hawk
There
next
you go.
time.
True. All right. That works.
But Laramie Burnsteel,
Oh yeah, him.
Paladin of Josiah, is now a level 7 paladin, level 6 cleric. He made his smite holy smite because he's sort of on a vengeance kick right now.
Is he going to say that when he uses it? Because that could be cool.
Possibly.
Holy smite!
And it makes his additional damage a D8 instead of a D4.
Okay.
With cleric spells, he took Sanctuary, which sort of gives like it's sort of like the D&D spell Alarm, where you make a alerted area that you can safely take camp or something.
So yeah, you can make a camp and you can set up a perimeter around it, and if anything crosses that, you're alerted.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he got a little bit more stout with Constitution, so that's cool.
Oh, we get to
I was
go
going
up
to
on
say, he was beefy already with
Yeah.
the high icon,
Yeah.
man.
So he has 18 strength and 18 Constitution.
talking about?
I really like Laramie. He's probably the favorite character that I play in all the games that I play.
What
So,
has he done in his past as part of one of our sessions that you think is the coolest thing that he's done? What is your favorite Laramie move or action?
I don't know. He's just. It's more like him being a good old Southern boy that makes him like he's a paladin. So like he does normal paladin things, but that personality I think is what I like playing more than anything. Like you said, like before we started that like there's 3 left and then he's done, and I'm like what? But yeah, I love playing him. He's the best.
Cool.
I'll have to work Southern in something else, I guess.
To what Mike just said, for those listening, we usually run about 30 episodes for a campaign, and based on where we are here, we're probably looking at 6 or so more episodes before we wrap this one up, so that we can move on to a new campaign, new characters, more new experiences. And that's, to your point, Mike, if you're really enjoying the character, it's kind of a bummer, but we also want to hear from new people too, right? People being characters.
And as far as where he's headed,
Yeah.
like, I mean, him being a paladin of Josiah is sort of like just a job for him. So, like, eventually he wants to get back to, like, Valshan, which is where he should be, and then eventually get home to see his wife and his daughters. Okay. And, like, so he had this, like, plan that he would be home at a certain time. And so, like he had a plan to hang out with them, and then basically, like the military, he just like signs up for another tour of duty.
Okay.
So like it would just be a continuation of like go home, see the kids, and then go back out on the road. So like things like hunting down the necromancer and maybe helping to free that watcher Griffin, Charlie the Griffin, might be like things that he would want to do
Griffin. Yes.
on like a later adventure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just sort of does his job and then he goes home.
Would Laramie ever retire?
I think he'd probably get to a point where his body would sort of break down.
He almost did as he joined our adventure.
yeah, geez.
But yeah.
But
So you think he would retire? Now, say Laramie does retire, the scribes of Josiah, what would be 1 or 2 lines they might write about him?
I don't know. Like I feel like he's such a good guy that maybe it's like, oh, he went and he helped where he could.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like he always was like they're all about the mystery. So like he was always looking to figure out the greatest mysteries of the world. So good guy that.
Well, that's something to think about
Figure
too,
stuff
because they will at some point have written about Laramie, and what would you like them to have written? So work towards that.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Hey, Joe, before you go to the next one, when do you get a +3 in Dungeon World?
18, and only 18.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Uriel.
So I upped my wisdom. I don't get any extra bonuses, but I'm planning to get to 18 if we level up again. So
Yeah, we definitely will.
so that'll be cool. So
I
a lot
don't
of
know
those
if
things
we'll
are
hit
wisdom based.
10 based on where we are, but I want to at least get 1 or 2 more levels.
Right, but yeah, as long as I get the one, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then for the power this time around, I took From Hell's Heart.
I stab at thee.
It's very sounds very foreboding.
Yeah.
When you summon fire with any of your moves, you can replace it with the black fires of hell itself. This fire does not burn with heat and ignores armor, scorching the soul itself. those creatures without souls, I assume undead or maybe constructs, cannot be harmed by this type of flame. So it's like an interesting thing. I like the whole he pulls his powers from darkness, but he uses them for good kind of thing. So I kind of like that about the character right off the bat. He was kind of a mystery and doesn't even know his own past completely. So is he this fallen angel and he's living among humans, or is he really just a human? Who knows?
Or a demon?
Yeah, by fallen angel though. But is he a fall? Yeah, that's what I mean. Is he a fallen angel where he's not necessarily good, but he doesn't know that, so he's just being this noble person, honorable man among humans and doing the right thing. So it's kind of like that, or is he going to go bad? Is he like a volcano waiting to blow his top, and it's going to go bad for everybody around him? So I'm kind of like, that could be a cool change of. Is that how it ends up? Where he's like. Does he become the new evil at the end of the story? Who knows?
I think we joked one time that like the highest rank of immolator is just like someone who goes and causes volcanoes to erupt.
Yeah.
Right.
What has Uriel done so far that maybe he feels is helping to define his future?
I mean, originally he sought out to like find himself, like find his past, and then he was working to like. There's a little bit of mystery about the sacred weapon, and you want to get into that, but then he had lost that. That memory's been gone now. So for him, it's just helping people. He seems like to help people out, right? Do the right thing, right? Like Laramie said, he wants to do the right thing, even though it might not be completely in his nature, but that's what he's doing right now.
Okay.
So for him, it's like he's helping out and making the world a better place.
So is it like he doesn't know where he came from, so he can't figure out where he's going? Kind of.
Almost, but he's trying to figure out who he is, and he doesn't really know who that is. But does it really matter? Does his past really matter?
Yeah.
He should just forge ahead no matter what.
He's living in the moment.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
Right, and that goes along with his hot-headedness. He just kind of lives in the moment. He doesn't really think too much about his actions, as long as he's not hurting people, innocents.
Sure.
And the moment we find ourselves in, as we jump into this episode, is you're at the entrance on the side of the hill where the Hawk had shown you where Drummond and others had entered. And it was mainly based on the tracks. And you can kind of barely make out Drummond tracks, as it were, a couple of living statue tracks, and lots of other foot traffic. Every now and then you see something like a wheel or something like somebody was dragging a cart or a crate. There's like a splintered piece of wood here and there, like somebody dropped something. But all indications are this is where stuff was dragged into the side of the hill. It's a small opening, which is why Eric didn't want to go in there, Eric the Hawk. And it can be a single file kind of thing. When you go into this, presuming you are, what is your order going to be? Like, what order would you march into this? And you are going to be marching into darkness, so light will be important.
Before we do that, is that everything we would have gotten from like a Discern Realities, or is it worth doing something like that here?
Because I don't have any other answers for you, it's not worth rolling the dice.
Okay.
But it's clear this is where they went, and they were almost assuredly carrying everything that you expected them to be carrying.
All right.
Confrontation is imminent.
Yep. I think Laramie
So who's
would
in
lead
front?
the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's definitely got to light it up.
He'd probably light up the golden dragon scale shield and just be in
So you
front
have
of
to cast light.
Yep.
Go for it. Let's see if this first roll is
It's an 8.
an 8. That is a successful thing. What do you take for the cast a spell 7 to 9? Do you want a -1 forward casting, or do you want to forget it?
Then -1 forward casting. I
Okay.
think.
Actually, it's ongoing, not forward. But -1 for every spell you try
Would
to
you
cast.
cast light?
Light. So he
You
lights
could
up his
forget
shield.
that
so
if
he
you
can
wanted,
say-
because he can always make light, right?
Kind of, sort of, but it's fire too.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't want to burn anything, he has to put it out.
That's true.
Yep.
Because it is real fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or hellfire.
He doesn't conjure harmless fire.
True.
Yeah, it's all bad.
Yep. All right. So you have the light, and it pierces into the darkness. We usually treat it as 25-ish feet. It is clearly a man-made opening and tunnel that leads in, and it leads down on a pretty steep incline to the point where, you have to lean back a little and put your feet in front of you while you're walking down so that you just don't tumble forward. And all along the way, like I said, it's definitely a man-made tunnel. There are fresh scratches on the sides of the wall where somebody was dragging something through and it just kept scraping the sides. Whatever they were bringing through barely fit, probably carts full of crap that, well, not crap, treasure that they took out of the treasury. The trail or the tracks on the ground are just almost completely obscured, all trampled on. The last set of footprints is a small set of footprints. Is anyone here a halfling? I don't think anyone was, right? Mm-hmm. But they're either child or halfling size footprints. Based on the weight, probably halfling. So there were a lot of small
Not dwarf.
people. No. They're the smaller feet size than the dwarf. And those are the last tracks. So it appears they had a lot of small people helping out. It leads forward. I gotta click this. Give me a moment. But it leads forward into the mountain again. It's down a relatively steep incline or decline down, and it seems like it's going on forever. After you're walking for minutes, feeling like forever because you're just going deeper and deeper, deeper underground, you can hear ahead of you commotion, sounds. Voices, noises, scrapings, all kinds of stuff. Like maybe you're catching up to whoever went in before you. You don't see them yet. You hear them before you can see them.
And how wide did you say the tunnel was?
The whole entrance and the width is no bigger than a standard door that we would use, like the door here on the shed. No taller or wider than that.
You're going first?
The pathway is still single file?
Yeah. And it's kind of, it's arched at the top, but otherwise figure a standard maybe 6.5 feet to 7 feet tall, maybe 3.5 feet wide. That's it. And it's man-made. It's the same size. It's uniform all the way, the whole way you're walking.
No, I think it's Laramie first, then me. And then, because you guys are ranged, you guys can be in the back, range weapon stuff. Or you change into whatever you want, I guess.
Is this like an underground?
You are now, after walking at a steady pace, again, you have to be careful with the walking, plus you don't know what's ahead of you, so you're probably taking a little bit of time. Call it a almost fast walk, the speed you're going. You've been going for a while. You're probably well over a mile.
Oh, wow.
Into the ground, and you've been walking. I don't know the right degrees numbers to give it, but you're walking at a downward decline the whole time.
Okay.
I think Laramie, who had been holding the shield up pretty high to give us as good as possible, maybe if we hear who we're chasing, would tilt it more toward the ground so that you'd still have enough light to maybe not trip over rocks and stuff, but maybe not as much to give them away if they can
Well,
get
there
closer.
hasn't been anything to trip over, but I get your point of obscuring the light somewhat.
Right.
Because it's been very clear. The whole path is clear. It's a uniform opening. Nothing really to trip you up.
Mm-hmm. And Cloud is one of her traits is stealthy. So if it makes sense, I would send her forward to kind of scout out a little ahead of us.
It makes sense to me as long as you
absolutely.
Yep.
you get that.
Can you see through Cloud's eyes or not? Or does that you have to call it different animal?
It's an animal. You could mark it.
I think I can mark.
Can I?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
Too.
You can, it says as long as I'm working with my animal companion, I have access to that move.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking
What do you think?
if it's dark and we're underground and all that.
Is. You're thinking mole
You want me to
person?
go Batwoman?
Gopher.
I'm thinking cat.
Cat.
Like domesticated.
Saber-toothed tiger.
No. Domesticated cat.
Okay.
Stealthy, quiet,
Okay.
can see well in the dark.
Or
Or
you could chimera, cat head, and whatever else.
cat bat.
Cat snake.
Cat bat snake. Because you got up to 3.
Yeah.
With some wombat
You can
thrown
get
in.
crazy in here.
I need to think about this. Hang on. So a cat, a bat, and a snake. Wait.
You don't have to do a snake.
No. I think the cat and the bat's kind of neat. It's like a cat in the hat, but with a bat.
That's pretty.
A cat bat with a hat.
Why would I be a cat and a bat?
To fly.
Well, the bat would have sonar.
True.
Cats don't
And you
have
could
sonar.
And
fly.
flight.
True.
And flight.
And flight.
Cats are
Okay,
pretty
so
good at
I'm going to be
saying.
a cat head. Wait, no. What?
You'd have to be a bat head for the sonar, though. Right?
Why don't I just be a
necessarily.
bat?
Why not?
Hey.
A bat won't be as stealthy as a cat.
True that. Okay, so I'm going to be a bat.
We just
Or
rat.
Kelly, you want it to be a cat, you can just be a cat.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, these
It's your
guys
character.
just like getting me all blurry.
I always try to use the new stuff when I pick it
mirror.
up. That's all. Yeah.
Don't let him play your character.
No, I'm not.
You just be the nice
I
little
always,
domesticated
I always try to do the new stuff.
just trying to be
So
a cat over here.
You turn into a cat that's immediately picked up by a bat and eaten by a hawk.
No, wait. Let me think. Okay, so if I'm a cat, can I be a cat with bat sonar abilities?
Yes,
Using
because
the
that's what it says you can do.
okay.
I don't want to cut your move short just with
Yeah.
semantics.
Okay, yeah, I want
Yeah.
to do that. So I want to be a cat with like the stealth ability.
So here's what we do. We'll make it a cat with big bat ears and wings.
Yes,
How about that?
I'm good with that. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so
So you do need to roll to shapeshift.
all right.
There's a magic card.
Right.
She is full on
Take
Halloween
notes.
up in here. Take
Because I
notes.
totally just stole your thunder right now.
all
You're
good.
like, can I send Cloud in? And I'm
No,
like,
this is much
hang
better.
on a
Cat bat
second.
is way
Yeah.
better.
This is my thing.
Catbat could
Also,
ride cloud.
I was gonna say, in my mind, there's a red magic card. I think it's called Chaos Imps, and it has
Yes.
a cat bat.
Yes.
I mean, it's
No
an
shit.
imp, but it looks like a cat bat.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw that out there.
I want to see what that looks like.
I want to see that.
Google later Chaos Imp.
Okay.
So you have to do shapeshift, which
So I have
is
to
a
do
druid
shapeshift.
starting move,
What do I
or shapeshifter, I believe it's called.
Shapeshift.
It's roll plus wisdom.
Wisdom. Yep.
roll plus
Oh, you're-
wisdom?
yeah.
Okay.
You're crank.
2 dice.
2 dice?
Yep.
Yeah, always.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
It's been a while. Yeah.
We're definitely rolling for the most of the remainder
So
of this
6
episode.
plus 3.
9.
9.
That's 9. So that's a hold 2.
Yep. So that means for the purpose of turning into Catbat, you want to be able to do certain things. The hold 2 means each time you want to do one of those special things, you're going to spend one of those hold. When you
Okay.
spend the last one, you turn back into Trillium.
Okay.
So the key here is you don't want to spend your last one when you're in the middle of a den of orcs or
Right.
in front of the dragon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Ideally, you don't want to, but
What-
you know.
All right.
If you had gotten a 10, you would have got what? Just hold 3?
Yeah. So you get one more. So
More demony looking chaos imps there.
Yeah.
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 Chris got a little picture here of what Kurt was
pretty
talking
cool.
about, so that's cool.
Okay.
So there's no negative. It's just she gets one less hold.
Right.
Right.
Because I was thinking
Even-
of spending a. But
Even on a 6-, you can get
a whole
one.
one.
Yeah. So it all comes down to how I want to handle it, and most of the time, I just want the druid to be able to do what they were going to do, because a hold 1 means you're back to being the regular druid as soon as you use it.
Right. All right. So
right, cat
I want to go ahead of the group and find out what the hell's going on. in
All
there.
right.
And so I'm going to be quiet and stealthy. Like
So
a
you
cat.
move up ahead, and the party moving in front of you is definitely moving slower than you in these cramped quarters. And ahead of you, you can see and hear what is probably 20 halflings. And all of them are shackled in some way, hands or feet or both. And they're carrying sacks of stuff, and it's a chain gang. They go, I don't know, how far would 20 halflings go chained up? So, to 100 feet. Right, and you can get. I'll let you get past them easy enough, just to be able to see what's up in front of them. There are a couple of humans, regular-looking people, also shackled, carrying stuff. One of them dragging a travois, if anyone remembers that whole JJ thing, which is just sticks with a harness and stuff on it, and you drag it. And then in front of them is what looks like would be, the jailers, slave drivers, whatever you want to call them, but they are made of stone, but they're walking. They're the living statue things that
Okay.
you've seen before. They're holding whips, and every now and then they turn around, they crack a whip at somebody. And in front of them is Drummond. You recognize Drummond.
Okay. Question.
Yes.
As a bat, when I see the rock people,
Yeah.
what do I see?
Because I'm going to put it as between the cat, which just has really good low light vision,
Yeah.
and the bat, which would have sonar, you're seeing shapes. Now you can tell these rock things have they don't have ear holes, they don't have eye holes, they're
Okay.
just rock.
Is there heat?
No.
There's no heat.
No heat.
Okay, so they are
They are
They're
somehow
fueled by
animated statue. Yeah.
basically.
yeah.
They're not.
You know
any
for
sort
sure
of
this isn't a natural thing. Yeah.
occurrence. Like.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're definitely fueled unnaturally.
Okay.
And I would use that more specific than saying magic, because you might view some magic as being natural. Like, is it
Okay.
unnatural when he puts light on his shield, Laramie?
I guess so, yeah.
Or when you make vines spring up
Because
from
that
the earth.
is
Right.
divinity unnatural, because he would be calling on the power of Josiah to put light on
well,
his shield.
okay, like
right?
for instance, if I were a bat looking at these rock figures,
Or a cat bat.
how would I see them? Would there be heat? Would there be body heat? Would
So
there
I'm,
be
I'm looking
you know,
at between cat and bat. I don't know that there is actual any like infrared.
Okay.
Right? I don't know that there is or isn't.
You could have transformed into RoboCop.
But they just look like stone.
Yeah. For
far as you can
sure,
tell.
they're not
Okay.
living creatures. They don't have the movement of living creatures. They don't have, like I said, all of the halflings have holes for ears, holes for
Right.
eyes, holes for a mouth. These things are stone, but they're shaped like
Okay.
humanoids.
Okay.
You can't hear any breath.
Correct. They
Okay.
don't breathe.
Definitely no heavy breathing for those guys.
All right. So
And what we'll do with that is it uses one of your hold to do this. So, depending
To
on what to
see
get the
them.
information that I
Right.
have given you.
Okay.
So you have one hold left, and if you use that while you're there, you'll turn back into Trillium. So it's something to keep in a mind about.
Don't hang out too long.
Yeah.
Can I stay in my form until I'm ready to use my last hold?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna
And just for the
chill.
record, at some point, you can always revert and then recast shapeshift and take a chance at
Or
getting
just
more holds.
reshape shift. I don't want to
You
use
know
the word
what?
cast because
Yeah, reshape shift.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But are you trying to come back and tell us what's going on, or are you just hanging out up there?
Yeah, that's the other part of it. Because right now, nobody else knows what you know.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
There are assumptions, I'm sure, but nobody else knows the extent of what's going on ahead of you.
Also,
Like,
I can
before you saw this, Trillium, people might not have known that these are apparently captives doing work.
I
They
wasn't
might have
thinking
thought-
that.
Right,
Yeah,
they
I
might
was
have
not
thought that it was people that were collaborators.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll go back
I'm ready to
to
just dump lava into the place. And I can just kill a bunch.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go back to the party, my party, and
Mm-hmm.
relay the message. Hey, these are captives that are being forced to, carry this.
Do you turn back into
Obviously-
Trillium and talk to them?
I carefully walk back
Yeah.
to,
Right. Once you're
Them.
out of sight and sound.
out of
right.
harm's way.
Yeah.
I do like my little barrel roll.
Yep,
thing.
I remember
And
that.
so I was just
And-
going to say there, like if you had more holds, I can talk to animals, but I don't think I can talk to chimeras because I don't have the higher level.
yeah. I would say that's
Just so you
true.
know.
Yeah.
So in the future, if we
Yeah.
need to communicate without you changing, you need to be an animal.
Word.
Just remember that.
Okay.
So how big are these living statue guys? They like normal human size? Or are they
6.5
bigger?
feet or so.
Just a,
yeah.
it's a pretty normal.
You can actually Trillium would have seen that they are part of what scrapes the wall as they go
Oh,
by.
okay.
Oh, okay. So they're
So
large,
like their elbows
humanoid.
scrape, sometimes their head scrapes.
Okay.
Okay.
They're pretty beefy dudes.
And they're not acting in the dexterous and stealthy way that you saw them before. They're just lumbering down the hall like that's their task right now.
Okay, so they don't have any weapons.
Well, they have the whips that they turn around every now and then and whip one of the halflings or the humans.
Okay.
Now, Breton's as close to a rogue as we have. I don't know if maybe we could send you up and maybe you could let some of these people free. Because they're in the sort of the back of the pack.
Yeah, what's the distance from what you saw from halfling and human slaves to? Well, I guess they're kind of close for the getting whipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there might
we-
be a group that we could.
Oh,
kinda,
there is.
We could
Give
get
it-
these 10 people out easy, and then these 20.
From the farthest back to Drummond, over 100 feet, easily.
Oh, I forgot Drummond was up there.
Yep, he's in the lead.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Did it look like they were doing anything? Are they looking for something specific? Or
Oh,
they're
they're carrying all the stuff.
Okay.
So they're just
Well, maybe not all
delivering
of the
it
stuff, but
to
they're
some
carrying stuff. Yeah.
Well, he.
place.
Yeah,
They're
he's got all
bringing
the
it
treasure.
somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And with all of them being chained together, how you decide to handle that would, just freeing the last guy might loosen chains for others or might not, or whatever you want to try.
What is stealth? Like a defy danger with dex or something?
I use dexterity, yeah. Unless you describe it differently. But
I mean, I could
typically we
definitely-
fall back on dexterity.
I could definitely try that because especially if we think we may end up wanting to attack this group, it would be nice to get in a
Oh, I
halflings.
definitely want a piece of Drummond.
innocent halflings out of the way, and my dex is a +3.
And keep in mind, I've staged this in such a way that you can't get to him unless you go through them.
Right.
Unless you're a cat bat.
Right. And I have camouflage, which lets me keep still in natural surroundings. I'm never spotted until I make a movement, which doesn't necessarily help with freeing them, but it's just good to know.
And they're also on the move. They're not stopping. They're just not moving as fast as you guys can move because you're not all chained together.
But are we able to get around the halflings and humans to get to the statue dudes? We gotta.
Each one of you almost fills up the hallway to begin with.
Tight in here.
Now, 2 of them could pass each other, but you guys are all normal sized.
What do you think? Do you think I should? I mean, how are they? Are they chained?
Some are
halflings?
chained hand and feet. Some are just hands, but they're all chained together. So there's a long chain of them.
So I would have to essentially break the chain off of one of those statues to free them.
Maybe.
But how do we get? I mean, they would have to get past us, though. That's what isn't going to be easy to do.
I see.
So do we need to wait? Do we need to follow them to a certain point where it opens up?
Yeah. Yeah, they can't get out back past us.
We also have someone that can melt chains too.
Oh, I can attempt to melt chains, but that's a lot to chain them.
Does it melt their hands?
It might hurt somebody.
Yeah, that's
What if we just,
not going to be very quiet.
if we're underground and there's only one way to go, like
We don't know that.
this is a pretty
There
narrow.
haven't been any side passages in the entire time you've been on here.
But the whole
So-
cavern's like it's
Yes,
yeah.
it's
This was
man-made.
made by.
It's going to open up.
Right.
It's going to be like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like ready for thuggy cult guys jumping out soon.
With lots of fire. Like,
Thuggy.
yeah. I think we should stealthily
Kalimash.
follow.
God, that's what it was.
I like Mike's idea, but because there's no way for them to get out past us coming back, I don't think it works. Unless you think.
Well, it
unless there's
certainly
something I'm
wouldn't be
missing.
easy.
Unless there's secret passages we do not know about.
Yeah.
And if Drummond's probably he's got his way out.
Yeah.
So we got to be careful about that.
So you just want to follow him for a little bit?
Yeah,
more
because
at
we don't
this
want to
time?
like scare him where he's just like he's gonna bolt, and I'm like we lost him again.
And at some point, does
At
our
least that's what I'm thinking. Because I want a piece of him big time.
do you have the? I can't remember the name of the spell. Remember the one I used to open the chasm? Like it's the control the elements.
Yeah, it's one of the moves. It is something about elements or commanding nature or something like
Elemental
that.
mastery.
Yeah, that
Elemental
sounds
Mastery.
right.
Do you have that one?
Yeah, she does. What is that?
when you
do?
call on the primal spirits of fire, water, earth, or air to perform a task for you, roll plus wisdom.
I'm just throwing this out there. Is at some point, if this room opens up, you can potentially like make a chasm between them and us, or between the halflings and the bad guys, or
Make a
or
cave
close,
in.
or yeah,
Or
just
make a cave
close
in.
off in a way of escape.
yeah. This is a really powerful
As
move.
long as there's another way out.
Correct.
As long as there's.
But just remember,
Yeah.
you don't just control animals. It's like you control the elements at this point
Nature.
in your career.
Yeah.
So
See, I have
just
to remember that. These are new. I mean, I have like what 2 or 3.
That's a
These
really
are 4
powerful spell. Of course, if it
new
goes
things.
bad,
Yeah.
which I can tell you from experience,
Yeah, I remember that one.
Can.
may not be ideal for
You
you.
almost killed your bard.
Yeah.
You broke
Wylena.
several of her limbs.
Oh yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
Mylena. Yeah.
Oh god, she was hot.
Not as hot as Melissa.
Okay.
though, right?
I don't know. One of them smells of strawberry, the other of coconut.
Put
You
them
have to
together.
them together.
Magical
Yeah.
pineapple fruit punch.
Wylena Melissa threesome. All right, back on track. Yes, sorry.
Okay, so
So
I do have
we're just
that.
we're
If-
biding our time
you
for
know.
now.
So what I want to find out then is how do you trail them without them noticing? I mean, because you've already been too far back for them to notice. But if you want to stay close enough,
Yeah, we can't
what
do
I'm
any
looking
light
for
source.
here, essentially, is
We're gonna be
well,
stealth.
you know what, you're
Because
actually
they're making noise with their chains and carrying stuff. We got nothing.
Between Druid Girl here
Yeah.
and Cloud, we can stealthily follow them and still stay pretty far back.
So essentially, you're doing the undertake a perilous journey without all of the rolls. But I want to at least get one roll of somebody who
Somebody's-
has figured out how you stay close enough to know where they are, but far enough back that they don't know you're there. Who's
Well,
that person?
That would be either myself or Cloud.
yeah,
I mean,
you're staying closer, and we're staying a little bit further back from you.
Yeah, I mean, if Trillian's up there, then if anything changes, she can run back and tell us.
Yeah.
So that
So what
would
I
be-
want to see then is Kelly had the last roll. Kurt, you make a roll for this one.
Yeah, I can do it with
Tell
my
me
animal.
how you would describe the knowledge you're using that gets you there.
Right, so, I mean, one of my basic animal companion moves gives me my supernatural connection with Cloud, and I can speak with Cloud, so I'm going to just tell her, like I've done before, hey,
Okay.
I need you to go keep an eye on them, but be quiet, which as you'll remember, stealthy is one of her strengths.
Isn't stubborn one of
Stubborn
her
is her
weaknesses?
weakness.
Yeah.
That's correct.
No.
But you're relying a lot on the ranger stuff, so let's go with wisdom.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so we'll do a defy danger with wisdom. Of course, the danger is you're gonna get spotted. Somebody's gonna get spotted.
Right.
Let's find out if you're able to
Come
defy
on,
that.
bad
danger.
boy.
You got chips, right?
8 plus 3 is 11.
All right.
Yay.
So you're able
Not
to
bad.
keep tabs on the gang as they're up ahead of you, and it's another maybe 15 minutes or so. It's really easy to lose track of time because it's just plodding steps over and over and over, trying to keep quiet, maybe trying to step in unison so you make fewer noises overall, that type of thing. And at one point, Cloud comes back and says they're turning off into this side passage that goes into some bigger room. And no sooner does Cloud come back and say that, but you hear the sound start to die away. They turn a passage, and it doesn't echo as much towards your direction.
And for the rest of you, that sounded like woof, 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 woof.
Well, it's a boy again.
Actually, not for Trillium. Trillium knew what it sounded.
She hears both. You could say, as a druid, in your right ear you hear the animal, in the left ear you hear the language, kind of thing. That would be pretty neat.
And Laramie's like, that's a funny sounding dog.
That's a
So
weird canine you got there.
You get up there, and the passage does branch off to the left, and the passage that branches off is a bigger passage. And as soon as you get close enough, you can hear the footsteps are faster now, like they've been able to pick up pace. The hallway you're on continues deeper. The one that branches off to the left stays on the same level that you are. So it's kind of leveled off. You don't walk up, or it does not go up or down. And, not far into that passage, it does open up. There's a bigger room.
So the one we're on just keeps going down as far as we can tell indefinitely.
But that's not where they turned.
Right.
Right. Your success with Cloud means you know where they went. There's no tomfoolery here.
I'm going to send Cloud, talk to Cloud and give her a rub under her chin, which she really likes, on her belly. I'm going to send her like 5 minutes down the main path and then tell her to come back. Just say, 5 minutes, roughly, in a term she would understand, and then ask her to come back if she doesn't see anything.
Okay. She says, okay. And off she goes.
Just because it may go down indefinitely, but it would be nice if there's something else right there, I want to know it.
And
then I'm assuming we're probably going to end up going left.
Right.
So.
But you hear, right after you send Cloud off, you hear the padding of her feet stop once she's out of the circle of light. Her paws, not feet.
Like where I would expect to hear them?
Yeah.
So they abruptly stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope you didn't fall off a cliff.
We heard the Wilhelm scream or the.
Well,
Giffey
do you
scream.
say that?
I'm going to be quiet. I would whisper it.
Okay. And you just hear whining. Or everyone hears whining. And what I guess Trillium and Breton hears, I don't want to go.
I would call her back. To say, come here.
Damn right.
I mean, wolf.
Can she tell us? I mean, she can tell us what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Can
It's dark.
you tell me what you saw?
It's dark. I'll be all alone. I don't want to go.
Oh, she's being stubborn.
I mean, this whole time you guys have had my back, and now you're sending me somewhere else. Woof, 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 woof. Woof, 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 woof.
Okay,
And you call me a bitch.
bitch, get your ass out there. Save your party.
Well, I didn't smell anything. Can I just go
I'll
with
have
you?
really nice sausages. If you just 5 minutes, he's down.
Always
really
bragging
nice
about your
sausages.
sausage.
I'll get you the best
Would-
sausages that Kingsbury has to offer.
I know you don't have them with you.
Y'all, they're getting away.
You're lying again.
Y'all, they're getting away.
And it's a lot of really plaintive woofs and whines.
Well, no, I mean,
Hey, Claudius
Laramie's
doesn't
right.
wanna
If
be
she's not going to
sent
go,
alone.
if she's not going to
Yeah.
go,
Okay.
then we can't waste all day.
Can I
with
go
her.
with
Yeah.
Cloud? I can shapeshift into
Sure.
also a wolf, and maybe she'll feel more comfortable and like.
Yeah.
We're gonna, tag team this bitch.
But just a wolf.
John? It's a cat, wolf, bat.
Yeah, like
Wolf snake.
Snake of doom.
there's not
Black
a whole lot
Widow.
of
I
like
yeah, wolf might be good
Wolf
enough.
spider.
However, once you're past where Laramie's light is, there's literally no light, and wolves can't see in zero light. As far as I'm concerned, they can't.
I think you're right.
They can see in starlight, most darkness, but I don't think wolves have anything other than just really good vision.
right. Okay,
And that's what I'm going to say. Whether it's true or not in Dungeon World or not, it just became true.
right. So let's do
Do you shapeshift into an elf?
no.
She didn't take that one. There's doppelganger. She didn't take it.
Because they have night vision. That's why I asked.
Well,
Well,
a
they
lot of
don't in
animals
Dungeon
have
World
night
unless you say
vision.
they do.
Right.
You know what? It's not.
wolves-
I don't want to
Somebody
bog down on it. I mean, if it's pitch black, I can't think of.
I mean, this is also the way that they're not going. So
Yeah, I don't
Correct.
care about
Exactly.
that. I want to
Exactly.
go after
But
them.
That's what I'm saying.
to I think what Kelly was saying earlier, it's a way to make sure your ass is covered. That nobody's coming from that path either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
like
I think you were saying go cover our asses or something like
yeah,
that.
like
Right.
what? Okay, so like what would be beneficial for me because I want to do like Wolf to have some companionship with Cloud, but
Right.
then like what would benefit us?
I forgot that Cloud couldn't see at all. So why don't I just keep
Spider.
Cloud
For the
and
most
you
part.
go quick bat style?
What? No, I gotta go alone.
You
What?
go
Cloud
bat
can't come
crazy.
with
Well,
me?
hey, look. If you want to, when we're done this, if you can teach me this whole shape shifting thing, then you'd have a bat companion.
You just got to
Talk
think.
about the here and now,
I know,
Bryn.
I know, I can't
I
help
mean,
it. But
whatever you are.
But you're brave. You're strong.
Foxes have
As
good night
soon as
vision.
you see anything, just turn around and come back.
Some raccoons have good night vision.
Okay,
But
so
can they
5
see
minutes
in total
ahead.
Darkness.
Yeah.
Total darkness.
That's where I would go with bat because it's just
Bat is a good
sonar
one.
if nothing else. You
Yeah,
get
it
to
doesn't
see
matter,
shapes. Yeah.
Dude.
If you don't want to go, you don't have to. But I think you should.
All right, I'm just gonna go full bat.
Cool.
I'm gonna go full bat.
Full bat. All right, give me a roll. You're gonna shapeshift.
Yeah, I'm gonna go full bat. Let's do this.
Shapeshifter.
Yeah, but bats are wonky when they fly.
So walk.
Okay.
Now I am confident in a bat's ability to fly in a cave. I mean, if nothing else, that's what they do, right?
Yeah. It's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
but
I'm pretty sure you'd be okay. Even if the
but-
whole time we don't know it, and when they're flying, they're bonking their heads on the ceiling.
Yeah.
They're still okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're used to it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
They're thick
I really like being a nerd. In hanging out on a Saturday, I heard a girl say, "I'm gonna go full bat."
Yeah, damn right.
Not full retard. Full bat. I'm going full bat.
Full bat shit crazy.
All right, so 7 plus 3.
That's 10.
That's 9.
Nope, that's 10.
That's
Oh,
seven.
that's
You
10.
got a 7. Yeah,
It's
you're
only
looking at
9
this.
if you go full retard.
Full mathematician.
Sure you didn't go a little bit.
She turned mathematician.
Mathematician.
Wow. Okay,
So you got it. You turn into a bat.
yeah.
You fly down the hall.
Yeah.
And we're going to use one of the holds so that you can actually see while you're going.
Okay.
That's one of the 3. You go down the hall. You were saying 5 minutes. You guys want to hang out for 5 minutes waiting? That's the question. Actually, 10 minutes. If
I don't want to lose track
5
of
minutes
Drummond.
and
I do
back.
not want to lose track of Drummond.
Okay.
I mean, I think we're pretty
Even if we have to
antsy.
split off for a
Yeah, I
little
mean, it can be
bit.
2 minutes. I just want to make
There
sure.
was like a wolf conversation, and I'm like come on.
Why don't you guys
I
just
can't see
follow
my
at a
sundial
slow
down here. It's
pace?
horrible.
Yeah.
Why don't you just follow at a slow pace? I mean, just kind of.
Yeah. Well, they picked up the pace. That's the thing. Once the area
'Cause it
opened
opened
up,
up.
that party picked up the pace.
Oh, they're just still dragging how many?
Yeah.
Well, she
100
can fly.
people?
You can catch up with us. So you go. You just
Yeah.
go just enough to make sure no one's going to be like. As
Yeah,
You, as
yeah,
you
yeah.
so.
Do that. We'll keep going after
Clearly
the
said,
main
up-
party.
up
and
in our
you're
asses.
reconnoitering the other.
So as
Did I say that?
as Trillium goes that distance, whatever the distance is, at the end of it, it kind of drops off, and you do recognize the shapes of like a mining elevator, a mining shaft kind of thing. And there are ropes and pulleys and what have you, and a platform there that is at the top. But that's pretty much the end of that spot. And you're able to come back and let people know that that's what's there right now.
Okay.
In short enough order, a couple of minutes tops.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's just as the sound of the other party is almost right at the edge of your peripheral hearing that they're still there, but they've gotten a bit farther away. But you can catch up to them pretty quick.
All right. So on my way back,
Thank you for your patience, gentlemen.
I give.
It's running real thin.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine.
So you pick up the pace and you can catch up to them. The hallway opens up to like 10 feet by 10 feet, almost like the square. Again, still man-made, definitely all unnatural carvings.
Dwarven made?
It's a little high for straight dwarven work.
Okay.
Unless they're on something. They could have been on anything, I suppose.
Stilts.
Yes.
Dwarves on stilts.
On parade.
I'm gonna give a couple of friendly bat pats to Cloud.
Bat pat.
Like I'm gonna do a
leather
friendly
wings.
bat dive down on Cloud's head a couple times just to be like, it's all right, buddy.
Going on a guano run.
Friendly bat pat.
The
What? Cloud needs some reassurance.
when
Cloud is feeling
when
scared.
it starts to open up wider, you can actually start to see the edges and light in the distance, the edges of what looks like an underground city. It looks pretty large, like the whole place opens up very wide. It is a warm, damp, not like under a volcano where I would expect it to be really dry, but there's a warmth, but it is not a dry warmth. There's just, this place is definitely inhabited. You can see lights, like lights in windows that are like pinpricks out in the distance. The party in front of you, you can see now, is up ahead, and they've started to, it looks like they've been split up, and there's some going off to the right and some going off to the left.
Can we see like the leadership of that, like the golems and Drummond? Are they with certain groups, or
At this point, you're not close. Excuse me, not close enough to determine individual figures, because there were some humans that were shackled as well, all about the same size. And then there were the halflings, not too much smaller than Drummond, so it would be easy to mistake them at this distance.
I just want to go after Drummond.
I know.
That's
That's
the
how I
only guy I
feel.
wanna go after.
Like,
So I guess we need a scout to tell us which way he's going if it's split off.
So it's easy enough to get up to the point where they split off, and maybe somebody who can track can figure out which way Drummond went.
Maybe he could.
Because the further we get down into the city, it's going to go sideways.
Roll plus wisdom.
I don't want to have to fight a whole city.
Whatever your tracking move is, the hunt and track.
11 total.
11
8
will
plus
do
3.
it. And go ahead and read that again so we can see.
Yep. I can follow the clues left by passing creatures.
Yeah.
On a 10 plus, in addition to following the trail, I can gain a useful bit of information about my quarry or determine what caused the trail to end.
Okay, in this case, the trail doesn't end. So perhaps a useful bit of information, Drummond was definitely carrying something. He turned to the left, and when he did, he wasn't carrying the thing anymore. His footprints are lighter. Like they're not as deep as they were before he turned. But he went with the group to the left, definitely.
So I would relay that information to my compatriots.
Can he tell what went the other directions?
It's kind of an even split. One of the living statues and kind of half of the humans and half of the halflings went.
so does that mean they just kind of like dropped whatever they were carrying into this?
No, they're still carrying whatever it was.
Just handed it to someone
And I
else.
guess at this point, maybe another bit of useful information. You can tell, where I was saying some of them were shackled hands and feet and whatever, it looks like they're shorter foot or strides going to the left, like that they were probably split, shackled by hand, shackled by feet. All right, so the ones that went to the left were probably had their feet shackled, so they couldn't take as long of a stride. The ones that went to the right looked like they may have moved off faster with longer strides. But nothing was dropped that you can see. There's nothing else on the ground.
Yeah. It's tough because like I feel like it would be easier to go free those slave groups without
care about
Drummond
those
being
people.
there.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. Like, I think the people
We could always
are-
come back for them later.
Yeah, the people are.
Hold on a second. That little glitchy sound.
Gremlins.
And we're back. Okay, go ahead. You feel like what?
I think the people are relatively safe. Like, they're not urgent. I don't want to lose Drummond because obviously he's trouble.
Although
Oh, they're going to be killed as soon as their
I mean, we
goal
don't-
is met.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
But
that.
yeah,
I'm
but let's
just saying
take out the
that.
We
guys that are
don't
going to do the.
know
They
what
might
this
be.
town is. Also, like
Right.
this is they could be
Yeah, it could be Dwarvesville
like
and like Drummond's
sold
buddy.
into
It's the whole
slavery.
family.
It could be
Yeah.
thrown
This is-
into an arena.
It's
They
King
could
Drummond's
be-
kingdom, of course.
Well, or Drummond could be a pawn for a demon lord. Like we have no idea what's down there.
And that's cool. Let's go find out.
Yeah, like I don't know. I
don't want to kill Drummond. I mean, first of all, other than maybe being a slave trader, we don't really know.
He probably killed Jolly
Drummond is
Gerald. He's already a bad dude. I don't like that guy.
he could have just enslaved.
But we
people
could
to drag
definitely
the
get more
stuff from the
information
treasury.
from him before we toast him.
We can
Oh,
always talk
yeah.
to him later.
right.
We can talk to dead
him,
people.
but I say
Ah,
we
you're
pursue him.
People got skills.
You're right. I forgot.
We
Bad
pursue
skills.
him whether we kill him or not. We should pursue him, and like the humans or the halflings or whoever this is chained up, like
I agree.
Come
as
on.
far as we're
We
aware,
can't not follow Drummond.
like they're
Right, Laramie?
Look, I got a new
relatively
move I want to
safe.
try out on him, so let's go.
What do you think? What does Laramie want to do?
I don't know. I mean, they're
There are
innocent
people to
the
save
other
in
way.
both directions, though.
Right, so we might as well go take care of the bad guys. So then it's easier to save people later.
I mean, there's bad guys in all the directions too.
We don't know that. Well, there's
Yeah,
a
but the
living,
true
but there's
bad
worse
guy,
bad guys.
Drummond,
Yeah, there's worse bad guys.
The one that's been giving us problems.
and left
since
is the
the
devil's way,
get-go.
so we should go that way.
Are you
anyway.
thinking we should split the party?
That's
don't
that's
know.
interesting.
I want to keep you all safe too.
I'm with
so
Uriel.
If your guys are going that way, I gotta go with you.
Sounds good.
So, the party gets together. They turn to the left and run right into the end of the episode.
And it happens all the time to us.
It's crazy.
You never
That's
see
such
it
a
But
coming.
brutal
right on
foe.
the other side of that, we'll figure out what happens
Next.
on the next
And that means
one.
Kelly has to come back.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm trapped in this underground trail.
Yes, you are. You cannot get out.
Welcome to the role of the permanent guest.
Back cat. All right, for now, we can all say...
Wanna.
Wano.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.